Welcome, and thank you for joining us in Mahogany Under with Cece and Dr. Yancey. Today we have on Christina Cova-Simmons. She's a realtor here in Las Vegas, and Melody Matthews. She's a realtor in Virginia. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Hello.
Melody, could you tell the audience a little bit about you and where you work and what you do as far as a realtor and broker?
Okay. Well, my name is Melody Matthews. I'm the broker and owner of Melody Matthews and Associates. So I'm actually a real estate broker, not a realtor. I've been a real estate broker for about over a decade now, and we've been actually in our firm for over a decade. I've been licensed for a very long time. So I've been doing this for a long, long time. I started in real estate, and in my first month in real estate, I made over $36,000. So I quickly realized, hey, this is something that I definitely want to pursue. So within 3 years, I opened up a real estate firm as I was the #1 agent with over 400 realtors for one of the fastest growing real estate companies on the East Coast. And then I started becoming an investor. So I'm also an investor. So I'm a broker, investor, and I'm a realtor. And I enjoy what I do.
And you're good at it.
Thank you.
Christina, could you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, my name is Christina Cova-Simmons. So I have been a real estate broker salesperson. I don't have my own office. I actually work for a big company, Berkshire, Hathaway, and I have been a realtor here for 15 years. I predominantly work with first-time home buyers, and I do a lot of move-up. My niche is kind of like families. I do a lot within my community. I do a lot of nonprofit work. So I have a 6 and 9-year-old, so a lot of the contacts, most of my business is referral based.
All right, thank you. And I thank you guys for joining us on this show. Just to give you a little background, I know Christina because she has helped me and my husband purchase 2 homes here in Las Vegas. The first home we were actually in Germany, and she taped the home and sent us video. I mean, she went above and beyond for us. So I appreciated that. So we had to go back to it a second time. Melody, you helped us sell our first and second home in Virginia. You were good at what you do. She sold our home when we left out the country to go to Germany. And then our second home, we moved here while she was trying to sell our home back in Virginia. So they're both good at what they do. And their information and links are going to be in the description in YouTube.
What about this, when you say you're a realtor and you say a broker, what's the difference?
That's such a great question. I swear it's the most confusing thing. And even by states, it's different. So for me, so I specify I'm not an owner. So there in Nevada, you can be a real estate agent. That means you have your license. You're an agent or you're a broker salesperson. That is my license. And then you have the choice to join the board of the National Association of Realtors. You're a realtor. You have to pay membership dues. You have to abide by ethics. And what that means is you basically have access to the multiple listing service. So it's very hard to be a real estate agent and not be a realtor if you're trying to do residential sales. But you will have people that will say, I'm a Nevada real estate license agent. And that might mean that they do property management, they might do commercial real estate. So maybe they just have their license, but they're not a practicing realtor using the MLS. Super confusing.
And Miss Matthews?
So in Virginia, it's a little bit different. As a broker, realtors have to work underneath a broker. Realtors aren't brokers. There are some realtor broker states. So in order for a licensed realtor or real estate agent to even practice real estate, they have to have a broker that they work for, which is a little bit more training, a little bit more expertise, a little bit more classes that they have to take. And then, of course, in Virginia, you have to have so many sales to be able to become a broker. So I've been a broker for over a decade now. So I have realtors that work for me, but I am a broker owner, meaning I own my real estate company as well. So that's just a little different in Virginia.
Okay, awesome. And how do you choose, or how would one choose a realtor or a real estate agent or a broker when they want to purchase or sell their home? Christina?
I mean, my best advice is, in the way that most people choose us, is by recommendations, a referral, right? I mean, the first thing, we already know statistics show us that 99% of people go online. They go onto the Zillow, they go on the Redfin, they go onto, realtor.com. So a lot of the times people will find their agent online. It may or may not work out. Those agents are paying for those leads. It's great. They might be great. They may not be. So I always say maybe just like take 3 names, talk to all 3 agents, and really it's a relationship-based transaction. So you want to make sure that you trust that person, you get along with that person. So that's why it's always great to get at least one person that has used that agent, and that they had a great transaction. So at a minimum, try to get at least one person that has a personal referral, has used that person the last few years. And then if you want to interview a couple more people too, I find that most people choose the first person that they talk to. That's doesn't work out very well. I get a lot of people call me from Redfin and Zillow, and they have had a nightmare transaction. And so, or nightmare, follow up. They're not getting in touch with that person. And then they say, hey, can I work with you? And then, we start working together and we end up closing on a house. So I think that's your first thing. Most people go either online or call a friend.
And Ms. Matthews?
I would agree. That's exactly what you should do. And there are some great realtors in the area, in the community. Everyone wants to help you with your purchase, especially first-time home buyers. It's just a matter of connecting with the right people. And once you do that, I think you could have a seamless process.
Yes. So I'm going to say right now, I am recommending these 2. They are the best at what they do.
Yeah. And remember, it's different. There's also a big difference between when you go to buy or sell. Somebody can be relatively new in the business, and usually that's how I started. I was predominantly a buyer's agent, because you got to really build your experience. And most sellers are not going to be like, yeah, you just got your license, sell my $1 million home. They won't. They want to see that you have experience, which I would too if I was a seller. So I think it's totally different when you're shopping for a realtor to help you sell your home versus buy your home. It's different. You're going to be a lot more, in my opinion. Most people did not care when I was a new agent and would hire me to buy a home, because they knew that I worked hard. I hustled around the entire city. Whatever they wanted to look at, I got it for them. But it was much harder to convince a $1 million plus seller that I've been in the business for a year and I'm qualified to sell your house, and I have the marketing and the reach and the money to pay to market your house. So much different.
So individually, Christina, how is the market here in Las Vegas? Is it doing well with the COVID?
It's crazy how well it's doing, and everyone's just kind of waiting like, okay, when's the sky going to fall? Because we're at 20% unemployment, I think, at last I had heard. And market is on fire. Anything priced under $450 is selling within the first week or 2, multiple offers again on everything. But the bottom line is it's just supply and demand. Inventory is very low because, of course, if you're an owner and you're not sure if you're going to have your job, or maybe your job was cut, they're not going to put their house on the market. They're going to stay put because they like their house, they can afford it, and they're like, we're not going anywhere. So inventory came to a big halt, which means, but then the other side is interest rates are super low. Mm-hmm. And remember, COVID made people, including myself, you're all shacked up in the house every day for 3 to 6 months. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, it's feeling tight. It's feeling really tight. You need more room. You need that home office because you don't want to Zoom from your formal dining room like I am right now, So you start to think, shoot, can we make a move? Rates are really low and the sky's falling. Other people are scared to buy. Maybe this is a good time to jump in. And then on my sellers, they're like, market is on fire. Let's capitalize. Let's sell now because we don't know 2021 what's going to happen. Let's sell right now while we know we can get top dollar. So our market's on fire.
And Miss Melody?
Yes, our market is on fire as well. So right now, we could literally put a house on the market today and within a few hours have multiple offers. we're going into highest and best offers, meaning whoever has the highest and best offer is the one that wins. So typically a house in our market right now stays on maybe a day, 2 days, maybe at the most. Sometimes we will list the property on a Friday and present all offers, like maybe on a Monday. But once we present the offers, of course, the sellers choose one and it's completely off the market. But it's a phenomenal market right now.
That's just hard to believe. I thought it would be just the opposite, and it's not.
No.
Everyone did. I remember back in March, pretty much when it just hit, and my kids were not in school, and I was like crying, like, what am I going to do? I thought this was going to be the best year of my life in real estate. The market was great last year. And I was like, I was just burying my head. I didn't want to wake up. I was like, I got to homeschool these kids. My real estate career is going to go like this, you know? And so literally March and April, I was thinking, oh, this year is going to be terrible. And right now I'm on track to have a better year than I've had in the past 5 years. This will be one of my better years.
Wow. So are you still going out and showing the properties?
We are. Yeah, we're allowed to show, you know, we have to wear a face mask, gloves, sanitizer, booties. We take a lot of precautions while we're showing the homes. I carry Lysol wipes to turn on the knobs and lights just to kind of keep everything sanitized for the owners. But we are allowed to show property here in Las Vegas.
Melody, no problem in Virginia?
No problem, Virginia. We're also able to show properties. We have COVID-19 disclosures now, just disclosing to clients, just letting them know, you know, and so of course everybody has to, you know, abide by those rules and regulations. I do have some clients who have immune issues and things like that. So what they're doing is I will go in a house and open it up for them. And I will make sure I am in close proximity, but they just basically walk through the house. You know, they don't have to touch any light switches or anything like that. So everybody's been pretty safe. But it has not slowed our market down at all.
Wow, that's amazing.
Not at all.
Dr. Yancey, do you have anything to add?
I was thinking, in essence, of the market in regards to people losing their home due to the fact of COVID. Have you guys ran into individuals, if you're helping individuals find homes, are these homes that people have lost due to COVID?
So I have one right now. I do not represent the seller. I represent the buyer, and he is a casino worker, the seller. He has not been working for 6 months, so he is selling his home. But thankfully for everyone, I think across the country, for most people, they have equity, and that's what's saving them. So if they're smart and they have been unemployed, sell right now. Get out of the mortgage, pay it off, keep your credit intact. And unfortunately, it's heartbreaking because, you know, it's a family of 3. They have a 9-year-old little boy, and it's sad. They are potentially they're losing their home. Thankfully, they're going to walk away with probably $20,000 to $30,000 to put in the bank for savings, but they're probably going to live off of that. He works in a casino. He's not going to work till probably next year. So potentially, yes, people are losing their homes, but not right now yet in Vegas, foreclosure or short sales. We're not there yet. That could happen if the market declines next year. All of a sudden, or I have people in my neighborhood, if they refinanced and took some money out to maybe pay for debt, now they're upside down, then they lose their job, they're going to be right there in that foreclosure status. Wow. It could happen. And that's kind of the prediction for next year, that everyone's thinking, oh, wow, yes, the market's hot right now, but maybe 6 months from now, people start actually losing their homes. Could happen.
Melody?
Yeah, I kind of hear right now, you know, like it is a fast moving market, but a lot of clients have been able to talk to their banks, and under the CARES Act, they have been protected from foreclosure. So I have not personally experienced that yet. I do know that there has been a few people who said, hey, you know, I did contact my mortgage lender, and they have given me time, you know, to be able to work out a workout package after the pandemic is over. So right now, I have not seen anything. I have not had any clients that have lost their home or at jeopardy of losing their home because of that. But I do think next year we may see a lot more foreclosures coming on the market.
That's bad.
But I think that you're probably, the good thing is, remember, the banks really learned their lesson, especially Vegas was one of the worst markets in the country after the recession. I mean, tons of homes in foreclosures, and the banks do not want homes. They're not in the business to own homes, maintain homes, pay taxes. They don't want them. So you bet your butt they're going to do everything possible this time around to help a homeowner stay in the home. If you can make some type of payments and, you know, work with them, they're going to work with you. So that's going to really help our market to not get flooded with foreclosures, because those banks don't want them.
Yeah.
I know this kind of off the subject, but I know a couple renters, they were saying, are moving out of the home at night and trashing the place. They're doing that now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You know, when it's not your home, you can do what you want. So,
yeah, unfortunately.
So if someone was looking to purchase a home, what range should their credit score be averagely? Melody?
Well, I always tell everybody, you know, before you purchase a home, you definitely want to make sure that, you know, you're in a position to be able to buy the home and be comfortable in it. Here, I don't know on the West Coast how it goes, but pretty much everyone needs to be around a 640 credit score to be able to buy. Now, NACA is an amazing program because NACA really, technically is not score driven, but with NACA here, you can pretty much have any kind of credit score, but you can't have late pays or derogatories or judgments on your credit report. Because there are some people who don't even have a credit score, and that's a totally different subject there. But some clients don't have a credit score, and so NACA will approve them. Or some clients may have income to debt ratio issues, but have great credit, that NACA will approve them, or some credit unions here will approve them. So I would say for here, 640 would probably be a great credit score to have if you want to purchase your first home.
Okay. Now, I want to know, if they do not have good credit, but they have built up their credit, how long should they wait before they are considered good enough to purchase this home? I mean, is it a year? Is it like 2 years to make sure your credit is stable?
Most stuff just for income is 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, just for like history.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of look back in your history as well. So they don't just look at your credit today. They look back and see what your history is like. Do you have a history of not paying anybody on time at any time? Yeah. Or do you have a good history and maybe you missed one payment, say 20 months ago? So that makes a difference. But you definitely want to be in a position where you're going to be successful when you purchase your first home.
And Christina, what's the average credit score should someone have here?
So same thing. I mean, it's on a national level. I always tell my clients, if you can be in the mid 600s, that's going to be great credit. Now, keep in mind, FHA will do a mortgage for somebody as low as 580, 3.5% down. The rates are higher with FHA. You know, there are mortgage insurance every month. And what that is when you're coming in with such a low down payment with an FHA mortgage, for a first-time buyer, you're putting 3.5% down. Obviously, that's a low down payment. So the lender is going to put an insurance on your mortgage, and every month you're paying that premium. And that can be as low as $100 to $200 a month extra on your monthly payment. So that's a way to get in on a lower FICO score. Credit score is 580. And what's a huge thing I never realized until I got into the industry, people right now love these websites, Credit Karma and such, and go check your credit. And every credit card company that you have, they'll give you your free FICO score on their website. You'll see your credit score a lot. Keep in mind, that credit score is not the same credit score. It's very confusing, but all you need to know is a mortgage company, when they run your credit score to give you that's the biggest loan you can get in your life, most likely, is a mortgage. So the criteria for the mortgage is a little bit tighter, and your credit score, the way they value your credit score, it sometimes is lower than what you're going to see on those free websites. So just keep that in mind, because I have so many first-time buyers that are like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm a 680, I'm a 720. And then my lender runs their numbers and they're like, no, they're barely like a 630. Like, how did they think they were a 720, 680? So there could be a huge discrepancy between what you're finding online for free and what your credit score comes back on a FICO score that's run through a mortgage lender. It's a different, I don't know why, different criteria they use.
Dr. Yancey, would you like to add anything?
No, it's not my field of study, but appreciate you guys for being able to share this information. I think a lot of people are concerned or don't even try to get a mortgage, especially when they know their credit score is not the best. But it's good to hear and know that there are a variety levels of credit scores and that banks take additional things into consideration other than credit scores. So people need to just go out there and just try. So nothing hurts a try, and trying is free.
100%. We always say that there are, like Melody was saying, people that don't have credit, and sometimes no credit is just as bad credit. So they teach you how to, how to build it. If we got to get a cell phone, if we've got to get, anything that we can show that you've been paying payments on time and building your history, opening up a little secured credit card, and it's tied to your debit account. So it's just a $500 credit card to build credit. But really keeping your debt low, I always just tell my first time buyers, if they don't know where to start, like, let's start here. Let's look at your credit score, but let's look at what's on your credit and make sure you don't have anything past, that are in collections. But they will take exceptions. If you have a medical bill, things like that, they're not going to hold that against you for the rest of your life. They look at it a case-by-case basis. So most people have something on their credit. And I tell first-time buyers, don't be discouraged. Most of the things can be worked out, but the most important thing is keep your debts low. Don't take on a huge car payment. Don't start racking up credit cards. Unfortunately, I feel like we're in a society where that is not taught to our high school students.
Yes.
And they get out, they go to college, and they grab a credit card and rack it up, and they're in debt and start off on the wrong foot already. So that's a huge problem we kind of need to combat way before they're getting into their late 20s, early 30s and try to go buy a house. We need to catch them a lot sooner.
Yeah, I agree.
Teach them those good habits.
I'm glad you brought up them not purchasing anything large, especially if they want to purchase a home, because that's what they tell us. Like, don't do any big purchases because it might hit your credit again. So, Melody, what are some programs that could help first-time home buyers?
Well, there's a lot of programs out there, and I'll let Christina talk about a few, but I want to touch on a couple of them that maybe people really have not heard about. Because, we do have VHDA, we have USDA, we have a lot of first-time home buyer products and programs available, and we talked about NAC a little bit. But also here, we do a lot of programs for clients who have Section 8 vouchers. And I don't know if people are not aware about this program, but it's called the Housing Choice Voucher Program, or HCV. HCV, a client who has a Section 8 voucher can qualify for a house just like anybody else. But just like the landlord is subsidized the money, the mortgage company will be subsidized the money. So in turn, instead of them renting forever from a landlord under the Section 8 program, they're actually purchasing their house with it. We do a lot of those, and there's grant money for down payment for them. They still have to qualify and have minimal credit scores to be able to buy, but it's a phenomenal program for someone who may be a single parent or someone who may have very limited income, may be disabled. This program will allow them to subsidize that mortgage payment every single month for 15 years.
Wow.
And it's great. So if the landlord was getting, say, a total of $900 a month, and the tenant was only paying, say, $500 of the $900, you could do that same thing with the mortgage itself. So that money would go to Bank of America or Wells Fargo or whoever. They would still pay their portion, and then the other portion would be subsidized for 15 years. And so with that program, those clients, if there's any money in certain cities, I would recommend for people to look up your city, look up your redevelopment and housing authority, and find out whether or not there is any grant money available in your city, in your county, a surrounding area. You can actually tack that grant money on top of that for your down payment, closing costs, or any kind of real estate expenses. And in turn, you're basically purchasing a house with no money, but you do have to show that you have 1% in the bank.
Okay.
And that's a very small amount. So if it was a $200,000 house, 1% is a very little amount of money versus 3.5 or 5% in a first-time homebuyer program. But it's a great program. I actually probably did one of the very first ones in the state of Virginia years ago, and that client was successful in paying her house off in 15 years.
Really?
Yes, it is a great program. So I would suggest, Housing Choice Voucher Program, we call it HCV. That's a great program for someone who really thinks that they would never be able to purchase, but they do have to have a Section 8 voucher to be able to do it. And then I'll let Christina talk about some of the other programs, FHA, USDA, NACA, all that good stuff.
Yeah.